Hello everyone, in this video we are going to set up the enemy AI. So let's get started. But before we proceed, make sure you already set up the blocking system for the character, just like this. If you haven't set up, you can go back to the previous part of the tutorial before you proceed with the current part. Alright, the first thing that we are going to do is to open up the BP enemy AI right here. So after we have opened it up, we do not need anything such things like gamepad input or like movement input because we are not controlling the AI itself. So we just go ahead and delete all these codes like this and compile it. And the next thing is we need to make sure that the AI to chase the character itself well, or you can put it in a way like to get the AI near to the character itself. So we just need to add the point sensing here. And after that, just need to add the events like to choose it on C point. So the moment when we put the on C point, so when the AI see the character, it just move up towards where the character itself. So after that, just cast to BP player, and now we just set it as the player itself is the target for the AI. And next thing is AI move to, and next is drag the line here to target actor, and the pawn itself just type as self. We don't need to use anything like behavior trees because we only just use it as a test. But if you want to do some things like advanced code, you can just create another behavior tree. But in this tutorial, we don't need to do that. We just only do something like AI move to compile and save all, and then we just go to the map itself and drag the AI here. Oh, the one more thing is we don't need the camera boom camera itself. Just go ahead and delete it, compile it, and go back to the map. Make sure the AI turn towards the character itself, and let's see how it goes. As you can see that the AI won't move towards the character is because we didn't add the nav magical volume here. So we just need to put it here, go to here and type nav. Yeah, remember it must be we choose the nav magic volume volume, not the something like nav modifier volume. It must be this one. And drag here. That works. As for the size itself, you can just go and edit it the size of the volume itself, like how huge or how small it is, just like this. And if you want to make it like the highlight part, you just simply press the Q button. The P button, sorry, here, and to make sure the highlight part appears. So to make sure that how far or how much the distance where the AI can move. So let's test it out. And it works. The AI has moved towards the characters, but since the AI is way too near to the character, so we just need to edit it the distance itself. So how do we do it? As you can see that we have there's the acceptance radius here, so 5 is too near to the character, so we just simply make it like 10,000 here, compile and save. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it's a bit too far here. 300, so it goes. Oh, maybe 250. 100. Yep, I think this distance should be work. So we just set it like somewhere 100 for the radius, or you can just modify the distance. That depends on the distance that you want to set up. So I think 100 is more than enough. Remember to save. Alright, so next thing that we need to do is to create the blocking impact. In other words, that when the enemy AI attacks the player while we block, the player itself will play the blocking impact animation itself. So we just go to before that we just don't need the animation blocking montage here. We don't need this here, and we don't need this. Well, as for the next thing, we also don't need this. Okay, so we also need to create another sword for the AI itself. So just duplicate this BP sword here and rename it as for like AI sword. Okay, we just set it any names that we want, just as long as it's the weapon for the AI itself. And after that, save all, and we don't need this anymore. Just close up and open up the BP AI weapon. And we also don't need this kind of like gameplay or overlap. We don't need this. Just go ahead and delete it. And make sure this mesh is collision is set it as no collisions. And because we don't need the mesh of the sword itself as collision itself. Now after that, even we do need the collision, we just need to create the other one. So just go here, just type collisions, and this is the collision that we wanted. Just go ahead and press capital collision, and you can rename it as anything that you want. I'll just set it as damage collision. And after that, you just go to event graph, or just go to the add event. Just press open over. Oh no, open overlap. Sorry. And we just need, I think we just need to create the event itself, like custom event here. Then we just type collision enable. As long any name is fine as long as it's something that that it allows the collision here to be enabled. Well, and the other one is disable. Compile it. Okay. The next thing that we need to do is to drag the damage collision here, or you just can type it here. But to make it more easier, you just drag it here, drag from here to here. And the next thing that we need to do is to set enable or collision enable here. And remember to set the collision enable here, not the query only or physics only. No collision here. Yep. And this is all that we need to do for the AI weapon itself. So, and this is all that we need to do. Just remember to compile it and save all. Okay, now we are done with the code for the arrow for the weapon itself, and make sure we need to adjust the size of the collision itself. So you can just pause the video here and just adjust the size of the collision itself. After that, you can just come back to the come back and proceed for the next part. Alright, so we have adjusted the size of the damage collision itself. So the next thing that we need to do is to let the enemy AI here to attack the player itself. In other words, just to damage the player, that's all. So the first thing that we need to go to the BP enemy AI here and create a custom event. As for the name, you just put it as damage player. And after that, just cast to the player that you want to let the AI to damage it. And I'll just put it as BP cast to BP player. And as for the object, just choose get player character. Oh, there's one thing I think I forgot to do that is that I forgot to let the AI to create a sort itself. So same thing as we did for the VP player, all we need to do is to select mesh and then go here and then type child actor. And after that, oops. Since the character that I use for the enemy AI is exactly the same as BP player, so the parent socket is the same as the player itself. So just choose source socket, and then BP AI web. And let's test it whether the AI is holding this sword or not when we play. Well, it is. So, and the next thing that we need to do is, before cast to BP player, we also need to cast to the child actor itself, like the BPU AI weapons. So, child actor here, again, set, oops, not this. Remember, it's get a child actor, not the set child actor here. And after that, cast to, okay, I'll just put it this way, AI weapon here. Connect with this. And after that, choose apply damage. And damage actor is here, and the causal you just set it as self. So after we have done this for the damage player event, okay, we just temporarily leave it here, and the next thing that we need to do is to let the enemy AI to play the attack animations. So the moment when the AI has reached to the player locations, when that's on success, we just put it as play animations montage. So go back to your animation folder here and remember to create another montage here. So it's here. Create a montage. Again, as for the naming, you can decide it by yourself or just leave it here, but make sure you remember what name it is. Okay, we actually don't need the AI weapons here now, so we just close it up and go to AI montage. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, as you can see that although the AI has already played the attack animations, but the problem is it keep looping the animation itself. So, and this not the one that we wanted. So we just also need to play the D2 ones and then delete it for about like for about 2 or 3 seconds. I'll just put it as 2 instead and press reset. So after you have connect the delay to reset, and then let's see how it goes. Remember to compile it, save all, and let's test it out. Yep, this is exactly what we wanted. Now the AI character doesn't loop the animation itself. And the next thing to do is we need to let the player to play the damage animations. So we just temporarily leave it here, but make sure not to close out the enemy AI. So under BP player, we just go down here and type event apply. Oops. Oh, it doesn't matter. We just type it as apply damage. This is not the one that we wanted. It's any damage. Sorry. Yeah, here's the one. So after that, we just need to make sure that whether the player is it blocking or not. So it's obvious that when the player blocks, then it doesn't play the damage animation, but if it's the other way around, so yes, it will play it. So we're going to create a branch here and make sure the condition is whether the character is blocking. If it's not blocking, so we just play the damage animation here. So again, play any montage here. Okay, go back to our animations folder here. Oh, it's over here. Create a montage. Back to BP player here. And here's a damage montage here. Compile and save. And let's test it out. Okay, as you can see that even though that I've already set up the damage animations, but the player itself doesn't play the damage animation, is because that we still haven't set up the sword itself. That when the AI attack, we should make sure that the sword itself has already enabled the collision itself. So let's go back, and then we need to create the things called enemy notify state. So just choose any of the locations that you want to put it. In my case, I'll just put it here. Under blueprint, all classes, enemy notify state. Just choose the first one here. Let's select. As for the name, I just set it as weapon notify state. Oh no, I will set it as weapon collision notify state, and just select it. And as under the function, there's a four function that we call notify begins, end, tick, and name. Also, we only just need a begin and end. We just go ahead and choose begin, and the next one is end. So we start from notify begins. We have to make sure that the target itself is the AI itself. So just choose get owner, and then cast to the AI itself. Alright, so the next thing is actually our real target is not the enemy AI itself, it's actually the sword that he is holding, but because the sword has become the AI child actor here, so that's why we need to drag out the child actor, I mean the sword from the enemy AI here. So just again, child actor, part going down here, again, get child actor, change it a bit. After that, cast to BP AI weapon. Connect with it. And the next thing we need to do is to enable the collision itself. So we just go as collision level here. And the next thing we need to do is to drag out the damage player events here, over this event here, like damage player cast to weapon itself and the player, and after that, lastly is the apply damage itself. Just drag damage player and connect with it, and we're done. But make sure that we need to arrange the line here so that it won't turn out so messy. Okay, now we are done with the notify begins here. So the next thing we need to set up is for the notify end here. So it's more or less the same as the one that we did, except we don't need the damage player here. So we just go ahead and connect with start from gate owner and to the cast weapon here. Copy it. Disconnect this and then paste it here. Again, mesh component, go to get owner, and then we just connect with here. And the last thing that we need to do is to go to the disable part. Yep, collision disable. Compile and save. Always remember that it must be compile and save. So we have done with the notify state, and the next thing that we need to do is to set up this notify state on the weapon montage itself. So go back to your attack montage here for the AI. As for where we should set up here, just to you have to set up by yourself, because not everyone can use the same animation that I'm using. So because since this animation that I use is downloaded from the Mixamo, so maybe it might be different from any of your animations that you are using. So you can just pause the video here and then just to set up where or when that you want to put for the notify state. Alright, so as for my animation, so my range should be start from here to here. So I can just start from here and then just under the notify 1 and then press notify state and add the notify state that we have just created. Press here and then drag where that you want to end disable the collisions. In my case, I'll be here. And as you can see that there are two dots here, just drag the one on the right side to here. So within this range, when the player get into it, you will damage the player itself. So if you are not satisfied with the range itself, you just can come back to the montage here and then just keep edit it or adjust it as much as you want. So after that, we have completed it, save, and then we just close it because since we have have nothing to do with the montage itself. So let's test it out. As you can see that we have already done the notify state, but the player still doesn't play the damage animation. Is because that is the reason why we did not do it, because the apply damage here, because the base damage itself is set it as 0. So when the damage itself is 0, so the player doesn't play the damage animation, and so we just press it like any value that you want, for example like 0.1 or any value as long as it is not 0. So I just put it at 0.1 and let's play. Yep, it works. You can just set as any number that you want, just as long as it's not 0. And let's move it around. Yep. Still damage the player itself. So the one last thing that we are going to do in this tutorial is to create the blocking impact animations for the BP player itself. So in other words, when the AI attack while the player is blocking, so it creates the impact. So before we do that, first we need to change the acceptance radius here to 200 itself. I think 100 is just way too near to the player. So just compile and save, and then go to BB player. Not BB player. Actually, actually we can create a custom events here, and then we just set it connect with the truth here. The reason why I'm not really recommend with doing this way is that just put it as test. Okay, actually you don't need to copy what I'm doing right now. I'm just giving you telling you the reason why I'm not really recommend with this method. So if we just create a custom event here, and then we just put it here and type test, and as you can see that the function it becomes a function here. But as you can what if we want to use this function in the other blueprints, and we have quite a bit into troublesome. We need to type like cast to BP player. Why we need to do it is because that the event is under the player blueprint itself. So we need to so troublesome that we need to put typecast to BP player and then type test function, and that's what we need to do so that it makes the code so long, and that's not what I really wanted to see. So we just do here, and so that's why we need to create the blueprint interface. As for the location, I just put it anywhere you want it. Just go to blueprints, interface. As for the name, you just decide any name that you want it. In my case, I'll put it as system interface. And I'll open it up. As you can see that there's a new function 0 here. And then as for the name, I just type it as layer blocking impact. Okay, so now we have already created a new function here. So no matter which blueprint that we are in, we just type the name of the function here, because it can be used in any blueprints that we wanted. So we just go to BP player, and then we just type, and then we just need to call the function here. But there's one problem that we found, that this is not the one that we wanted to happen, because that we just need to create an event, not the function itself. But how do we do it? So we just go to the class setting here and just add the blueprint interface that we've just created. And in my case, since it is the system interface, so I just type system interface. Now it's added, compile and save, and then type the name of function again, like player blocking interface. Now you can see that as the player blocking pack, it has the event parts, event stuff. Just select it. Now here we go. And the next thing is we need to create the anime montage for the blocking impact, but this time is a bit special. So we just need to go to, well, not doing this way. Drag the mesh here, and then get new instance and montage play. Connect it, and then we just need to disable the stop all montages. I'll explain it later why we need to use montage play, and we need to do it in this such a complicated way instead of using the play anime montage. But for now, we just do it this way first. So we need the blocking impact montage here, and here is it. Create a montage, and here you go. Montage impact here. And the next thing is we need to do is, so if the player is blocking, if it's true, and then player blocking impact, just call the function here. Compile and save, and let's test it out. So if we receive damage, so we play damage animations. So if we block, yep, it plays the blocking impact. And here we go. The reason why I use the montage play instead of the play anime montage for the blocking impact animation is that if I use the play any montage when the character play the after the character play the animations, it immediately change back to idle animation. So you don't need to copy what I'm exactly to do. I'm just going to show you the results. So you just can watch it and see what will happens. So we just need to disconnect it. We just drag it down and just copy play any montage here, change it to blocking impact. And this is the reason here. Block, you see, it goes back to idle animation. Although I did not receive any damage, but the problem is the animation goes back to the idle animation after the impact animation is played. I mean after that. So that's the reason why that I choose the montage play, and also that because since that once after the blocking impact animation is played, and after that it goes back to the default animation, which is idle animation. So we don't need this, and then just reconnect here and play, and it works. Alright, so we have finished the setup for the EnemyAI and the blocking impact animations. So in the next part, we will create the parry system for the player itself. Well, so that's it for this part. I will see you in the next one.